We are losing light. I've spent the last 3 hours watching Couples Therapy, a TV show where a therapist goes through the problems couples have in their relationship. And then on top of that, I am sunburnt like a classic British person who gets made fun of in Australia for getting a singlet tan because they don't realize you have to wear sunscreen. And let me just tell you this. I do wear sunscreen everywhere I walk in this city, but London has been going through a heat wave despite the fact that I grew up in a fucking country where British people came in droves complaining about how bad how bad and dreary and always rainy. No. I grew up hearing people complain and yap and talk about how the UK has the worst bloody weather. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been here for about a week now and I am yet to see a cloud, nay, a drop of rain. I hate it here. Let's really get into it. Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out. And scream. Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Okay, if you can't see me, we're in a very different setup. I have done my best to create a dynamic scene picture so that it feels like you're seeing something a little bit different. If you can't see me, I'm sitting on the floor. And behind me are some cupboards which I have filled with various knickknacks that I have brought with me or accumulated. We have some books. We have my hat. We have a bag, which I leave there because that's the shit I take with me everywhere. And I have a makeshift handmade sign with What the Fuchs because I didn't think up until about 3 minutes before this. I did spend the last 3 hours watching Couples Therapy and it has really done a number on me. As someone who is 99% commitment phobic, scared of being around someone else all the time. Watching couples just tear each other to shreds is not very comforting and doesn't really change your opinion on much, does it, right? Yeah, dude. So, I'm trying to not bring that kind of just generalized sense of anxiety into this space. As I said, I've been watching shows for the last 3 hours and I am losing natural light. But what I will say is, at the moment, because it's summer, because of climate change, because I don't really know why, the sun. The sun here doesn't go down till 10 p.m. I've been doing shows coming outside expecting it to be pitch dark and it is like 10 p.m. and feels like 3 p.m. So that's really fucking up the circadian rhythms. For those of you who don't know, who aren't in the know, I am in London and I am not happy. And the agenda for today is varied and is as deep as the ocean is deep. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I am in London and I've been here for about 6 days. Do I hate being in London? Thank you for the question. Yes. And I am going to talk to you about why. I think that is really the main thing for me is the weather. And thank God my current roommates are all American because those people believe in life, liberty, and aircon. But the people of the United Kingdom have some sort of aversion to being cool. And I don't understand why. It's almost as if they are just so fine being hot. But that's why their teeth are so bad, because their gums are so hot. Their teeth are slipping and sliding in there. It doesn't make any sense. And all these people are walking around going, oh, it's not usually like this. Well, it's been like this for a week. And when I'm looking at my weather app, it's going to be like this for another 2 weeks. And then today someone had the audacity to go, well, you did come here in peak summer. You know what? No one ever. You never hear British people going, the winter is tough, but the summer is amazing. It's so hot and beautiful. And no, you only ever hear that in the UK, people are fucking miserable about the weather. I guess they've been miserable about the heat and the cool, and they're not being transparent with that because I came here under the impression that even in summer, one must wear a trench coat. I barely want to wear my own skin. I have blisters on the back of my ankles because I didn't bring summer appropriate walking shoes because I thought, and yes, finish that thought. I don't want to finish the thought. Maybe I should have done some research, but I just think when you're traveling, the less research you do, the lower the expectation, the higher the experience can be because you had no expectation. But in this scenario, I do think a little research would have, set me up appropriately because here I sit sweating and I've had to buy T-shirts. I didn't even bring a T-shirt. You know what I mean? My sister helped me pack my bag and she was like, you can't take 3 coats. And I said, but I'll be in the UK, it's necessary. She said, no. And I said, yes. And then we stopped fighting because I just listened to her because I lost the will to live. And the other day I call her, I go, it's so hot here. And she goes, yeah, and you wanted to take 4 coats. I said, this isn't the time to be going, I told you so. I said, I don't want to be on the show couples therapy with you. Okay. The weather is really pushing me. And the other thing too is, and I don't know if I have only been in tourist areas of this God-forsaken hellhole of a fucking city, but no one knows how to walk here. Now in Australia, in New York, what I assumed was worldwide is you follow the direction of the traffic. Now let's say there's, the left is going, I don't know, north and the right is going south. You follow similarly on the footpath. You walk on the same side of the footpath that the car is driving in the direction you're walking. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes sense to me, so I'm going to keep going. But alas, what I have found is that people just walk in any fucking direction they want. They dip, they weave, they move. And so I started focusing in. I go, okay, what are the locals doing? I can't differentiate the locals from the tourists, because you know why? No one wears headphones here. That was the other thing. First day I got here, I looked around and I said, why is everyone raw dogging the streets? I don't want to hear anything that's around me, even though I will often wear headphones with nothing playing because I actually do want to peer in on what people are saying. But it was the most bizarre thing. I thought, I can't tell which of you are locals, because the locals, they're wearing headphones. They're going from A to B. They hate their lives. The tourists, they're trying to soak in the culture, in quotes, if you will, of this fucking shithole. I keep saying shithole. I'm here for 3 months. This first week has really made me reconsider what I'm going to do for the next 3 months, because I don't know that I have the stomach for this place. And I have mad respect for anyone who comes here and likes it. I'm trying to remain open-minded. I am trying to remain hopeful that it will grow on me. But this first week, it has not been pleasant with their weather. It has not been pleasant with the weather at all. Okay. I went to see a movie. I went to see Jurassic Park Original Sin, or whatever the shit is called, just so I could sit indoors in a different room, not just my own room, because I thought I'm going to get bed sores if I stay on my bed for much longer, sitting on my ass. I just go from lying flat to sitting on my ass upright in a cool room, because I have aircon in this house, but there is no aircon anywhere else. I mean, it is just... And you speak to British people. You speak to British people about the lack of aircon in this fucking place, and they go, well, there's no infrastructure for it because we didn't really need it because of climate change. Well, climate change is happening, bitch. Wake up and install a fucking unit. Why are we just resting on the fact that 200 years ago these cunts were cool in the summer? They're not anymore. It's blistering. And also, it doesn't really make any sense why all these British people come from the UK and then come to Australia and get burnt to a crisp on Bondi Beach when you yourselves have a hot summer. The story that these British backpackers are telling doesn't add up, and now that I'm boots on the ground research in their godforsaken fucking shithole country, I can tell that they are pulling the wool over our eyes. It is a hot day today, so half of what I'm saying is just out of anger of heat, not of actual genuine distaste for this place. I actually think it'll be fine. The fruits and vegetables, disgusting. You have to go to a farmer's market for that. Fine, whatever, bit of adventure. In Australia, I guess I have really come to appreciate Australia, the great nation, because you can go to a Coles or a Woolworths, or if you're in America, a Whole Foods. But here, the options seem quite limited, and maybe I have bad information. Maybe I'm not quite sure yet, and I haven't got, my finger on the pulse of where to get your fruit and veg, but it shouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? It's like, why do I have to live in a place for 6 years to figure out where to get a fresh cucumber? That doesn't make any sense. On top of none of these things being fresh and edible, it is a cost of living crisis. Now, did I know that coming to the UK? Absolutely. Am I surprised? Absolutely. I knew it rationally and I knew it financially, but when you see it in action, it is just disgusting. And I don't even know how you fix that. I mean, do you just print more money? I don't think that's it. Surely the government can just reduce the cost of stuff, right? I did try to do some research prior to landing, which is too late to start doing research. But they did say that unfortunately around the UK, and keep in mind I was severely jet lagged, had flown for 36 hours. So perhaps, and not just perhaps, but very likely, I'm not retaining and then regurgitating any of this information correctly. So feel feel free to Google it and let me know, but I'm also living on the assumption that this information is correct. So the UK doesn't have any standard pricing of things. So a shop here can charge $1, can charge £1 for something that 3 kilometers away they can charge £5 for at the same kind of chain shop. Now, I don't know if that's true. That doesn't even seem like it would be true. That feels like something that we shouldn't actually all agree is a fact. So let's just kind of I'm going to walk that one back and say I don't think that's right at all. Now let's read some of the questions. So I put on my Instagram and said, if anyone has any questions about London, I'll answer that in this week's podcast. And maybe this will help me feel a little bit more grounded, because at the moment I'm counting down the days like I'm waiting to get out of prison. The irony of that is that maybe, if you know anything about Australia and the UK relations, is that Australians, well, the people who came over and were forced to go to Australia back in the day, they were in prison in London for petty crimes like stealing cloth or bread. And given my financial circumstances, I don't think I can afford to change my flight. So I may do a petty crime to then get deported back to Australia. The other thing I said to my friend this week, I said, what I've noticed about this situation is that I am so miserable in the heat and just in general here that the only thing I am doing is enjoying food. And it's either the price of a burrata and tomato focaccia sandwich or I don't know, changing my flight. And what's cheaper and more immediate is the burrata. So I am now just living through good food, which is setting me back because, well, I would say there's a lot of good food, but I'm yet to fucking see it. The best food I've eaten is the pasta I made because I just put a shit ton of cheese in it. Like, that's the sort of emotional space I'm coming to you from. You know what I'm saying? It's not good over here. Here are some questions people ask me on my Instagram. Okay, how many suitcases do you have? Great question, thank you. Well, I have one large suitcase, which was 23 kilos, got that heavy sticker baby, but I could have gone up to 30. So I was actually 7 kilos under, you know what I mean? So I am underweight, as my doctor always tells me. And then I have a hand luggage, but I will have to class up for my trip from here. Next, after I'm here, I go to Paris. I will need a second suitcase for that, like a checked second suitcase. Okay, excuse me, I need life update. You are in London. Yes, I'm in London. It shows how little attention you all pay to me. I'm in London from now until what feels like forever, but really it's technically the 18th of September, at which point I go to Manchester, do some shows in Manchester, and then I fly to Paris. Oh, God, I can't wait to be around those rude French cunts. See, this is the thing, right? Oh my God. I actually haven't had to interact with too many British people. Thank God for that, because I actually think I would just Actually, I have interacted with a couple and I wasn't polite. I said, I hate being here. And then I said, I think it is just the weather. I have a friend who, you know how some people get SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which I think is just when it's like cold, they get depressed. We'll Google it. She and I have discussed how we get aggressively angry in the heat. There is something that when it is hot, it ruins people's brains. And I'm sure it should be studied, because I can feel my brain sizzling. But when I'm cold, I'm too docile to do anything. Because I'm cold, my blood is thick and being pumped through my body in a tough way. When I'm hot, it's bubbling. It's simmering under the surface, and then I just explode. So being here this last week has not been good for the people around me and that have to interact with me. Because when I'm hot, I'm inconsolable. I am unimaginably unpleasant. Mate, I actually want to know about budget in this economy. Budget has been covered mildly in this already, as we talk about the cost of food and everything. And you know what the other thing is? The trains are so expensive. You think, first of all, London is so spread out. Can we talk about that for a fucking second? I knew that coming here because I've been here for a couple of days off and on, and it always seemed far away. Everything was far. Everything's an hour on a fucking tube. But when I've been here in the past, it's been for like 24 hours, so you don't really notice that. Or I've stayed for like 4 or 5 days, but with a friend. So they just took me around everywhere. So I wasn't really thinking or worried about how far we were going places. But now that I'm by myself, pig in the city, babe, pig in the city, when I tell you these things are so far away, you go somewhere, you put yourself out there, you leave the house, and then you pay £8 to get somewhere back and forth. So $20 to have a terrible fucking time in the heat. My friend Kate and I yesterday, we were trying to go back and forth about doing something in the afternoon. We said, let's get out of bed. The bed sores are getting a little bit sore. And she tried to make me go sit on the canal to watch the Wimbledon final on a live TV on the canal with no shade. I said, I don't know what has happened to your brain. I think you've either been lobotomized or you need to have one. I said, the fact you're trying to get me to sit outside is sinful, is criminal. I said, you are out for my demise at this point. You are trying to hurt me at this point. So the economy's not good because, in Sydney, I guess you fill up your petrol and then you just keep driving until you have to fill it up again. And yes, every time you fill it up, you do the mental dance of going, oh my God, why is this so expensive? This is so terrible. And then, 2-3 weeks passes and you have to fill up again. That's my experience. But here, every day I have to swipe my card and get an international charge on my NAB account to go somewhere that I'm inevitably going to hate and just sweat through my pants and my undies. Every single day here, I've wondered if it's blood dripping down the inside of my thigh and my periods come early because of the stress and anxiety and hatred of this place, or if it's just sweat. Hasn't been blood yet, so I think this week it'll happen for real. I also, and this is unrelated, but the area that I'm staying in, so basically I'm staying somewhere for the first month and then I move for the second 2 months. And I move for the second 2 months, it might just be home. I'm kidding. We're going to stick it out. I have a warrior spirit and this place is testing me. And yeah, okay, you're like, oh my God, you privileged cunt. Yeah, 100%. At no point am I sitting here denying that I am not living a privileged existence and grumpy about it. So I am staying in a place and it's on Abbey Road, which is the famous street for the Beatles. Now, if we're talking about the Spice Girls, then maybe I'm locked in. I like the Beatles, don't get me wrong. Nothing but respect to Yoko and her 4 boys. But the first day when I went for a walk, when I got here, I didn't realize how close I was to the zebra crossing. And let me tell you, I'm talking 50 meters. So I'm walking out on the street looking absolutely busted because I just flew for 36 hours. And I'm like, why are these people with their camera phones up, like staring at me? And I thought someone maybe famous was behind me. I thought maybe, I'd secretly been, put on a billboard in this country and was famous quietly and I didn't know about it or something. And then I realized I'm right at the crossing. And it is fascinating to me how quickly I can go from being a tourist myself in a country to being frustrated as fuck at the idiots who are actually tourists in this country. Because I'm superior. Because I'm planning to be here for a couple months. They're just vacationing in this hot city. And they walk on all sides of the roads and they smell and they're wearing matching shirts if they're on a bus together, and then they're trying to do the little fucking walking across the street like they're in the band. You're not in the band. Just get a fucking picture of it and just get out of here. And all the cars are hooting and I'm body checking bitches as I'm trying to cross and I ruin people's photos. They wait for ages for the cars to die down for them to quickly with their stupid family go across the Abbey Road crosswalk, and I just walk through middle fingers up going, fuck you. I start putting on a British accent. Fuck you, go home. That's not a British accent. So anyway, the economy is not great here, as aforementioned. Have you been in London before? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I didn't learn my lesson. I have come once in summer. It was not that bad. I wore a romper. If that doesn't tell you that things are in an okay place, I don't know what to tell you. I do think I am here at a particularly bad year. I keep being told that as a response to me complaining loudly that I hate being here. But really the expedition here in London is to see if I actually want to relocate here more permanently. That's the kind of goal. And I am hoping that Stockholm syndrome will set in and I will just fall in love with London, because I'll just be like, well, yes, because I don't think I can do Sydney for much longer. I think I need a change of pace for my career and just to kind of kick me up the arse. Is this the right kind of kick up the arse? I don't know. Will you be waiting to see Rachel Ziegler do Evita on that balcony? Great question. I don't know if I'm going to go see that Broadway show. I did look up a bunch of West End Broadway productions. Now, is it called a musical? Is it only Broadway if it's in New York? I think so. So I did look up yesterday, but this is the thing. Even last minute, you want to go see like the shittiest thing that's been reviewed. Like someone was like, Clueless, the movie has been turned into a musical, which, hey, why are all of these movies being turned into fucking musicals? Why? Devil Wears Prada, Clueless. Why do we don't need it. Make something fucking original in cinemas. All we get are these absolutely watered down, washed down versions of the originals. And now you're telling me on West End, that's all we fucking get fed as well. I am so bored. Why won't anyone take a financial risk on something fucking original? I'm paying £75 for a goddamn cucumber. You can pay a bit of money for a new idea on fucking Broadway. Sick of it. I realize that this has been an aggressive and kind of depressing and kind of all over the place, for lack of a better word, episode. And I want to say sorry. But I also want to say you know, in some episodes past, I've strayed from the basic premise, which is I'm supposed to be complaining about what makes me angry. And this is kind of a return to the basics, if you will. This is a return to what's good, to why we started this journey in the first place. And that is to complain the fuck out of things that piss me off. And this place has me mad. Watch next week me be happy as fuck because something good happened, like the temperature dropped. You know, it doesn't even have to drop too much. A couple of degrees will do me. A couple degrees. I'm not a fancy girl. I just want to be able to wear anything without chafing in any part of me. I could feel the drops down the back of my back. And that's a conventional, you know, my sweat was dripping down my back the other day. That's a pretty conventional hot zone. But you want to know what's not? I was on the tube the other day and I suddenly felt droplets going down my shins. I didn't even know you can sweat down your shins. Behind the knee, down the calf, for sure. That's a typical space that I would go, that is where sweat will be. But down my shin, that feels like I should go see a doctor for down my shin. I haven't done too much thrift shopping yet. I bring that up to say, before I let you go, I want to show you the most fabulous hat that I just purchased. I'm not going to discuss with you how much it was. It's probably less. Now that I said that, you probably are thinking it's like that much. It's more than you want it to be, but it's less than you think it is, if that's the kind of financial scale I am willing to share with you. Okay, this is the hat, and I don't think the camera is picking up the true girth of this thing. Now, as some of you know, I do love a fluffy hat. I really do. It is my kryptonite in many ways. This is hard. Okay, if you can't see, if you're listening to this, it is a fluffy winter hat with a brim that is, I'm going to say, 15 centimeters wide. It's black and white polka dot, and it is absolutely delectable. And if all I get out of the 3 months of being in this shithole town is this hat, I'm happy. Now, I am going to style it. I see myself wearing this in Paris, but I also see myself being pickpocketed in Paris because this does make me look like a tourist. Although maybe if I wear it correctly, I'll look a bit chic and kind of eccentric and insane and no one will want to come near me. I also think that is always an option. I think never forget that no one wants to bother an eccentric who they think will scream in their face. So that's kind of the aesthetic that maybe I will go for to keep myself safe in all of these dangerous cities. But anyway, this hat to me is absolutely nothing short of fabulous. And I like that you can pull it down and it flops so that no one can really see your face. And I just keep my eyes down, keep my head down, and I just keep going. And that's how I'm going to get through the next 3 months. Now, I want to say thanks for listening. Thank you so much for letting myself air my grievance, because the reality is I don't have the finances or the bandwidth to organize a Zoom call with my therapist, because that is what she offered me as I walked out of her doors on the final episode of our time together. And yeah, they're episodes because I'm entertaining the fuck out of her, make no mistake. So I think this podcast is about to get a lot heavier, and I think it's about to get a lot more damaging for you guys, but it's going to make me 100 kilos lighter. And that is what I've been told to do. So how do we sign off? Let's do something positive. My friend and I, we were saying that, you know, sometimes we feel like we're always so negative. You know, we always complain about things. And so we instated a new rule for ourselves. And the rule is such: you're allowed to say anything negative, anything you want. You can talk about anything, you can complain, but ultimately it has to end with a positive. So it can be like this: it's really hot and disgusting here. I have no money, and now I have to get a shitty part-time job. Those are all the negatives, okay? Now we go the positive. The positive that I'll end on is, you know, one day I'll die, and I will be released from this hellhole. And in that way, I can't complain. So that's not a perfect example because you kind of want something positive in the moment, but that's all I can give you right now. Now, as I said, if you're in the UK and you want to come see a show, I've got shows next week. We're going to have a blast. The only thing that has brought me a sense of joy in this place is buying that hat and being on a stage. And as long as I have those two things, I think I'll do okay. Thanks for letting me air my grievances. Until next week, if you have anything you want to complain about, DM me. I am in Misery Loves Company and I have no problem fielding some of your complaints. It would actually bring me pure joy to know that you hate wherever you are, or not even wherever you are, but just something. Do you hate your boyfriend? Do you hate your haircut? I don't really care what it is. A grievance is a grievance is a grievance. All are welcome here. Until next week, good night. That's my newscaster voice. Good night.